What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Thanksgiving edition of Let's Do a Podcast. I'm Ryan,
And I'm Anthony.
and I still did the whole weird intro. Like I try to not. Have you noticed the way I say our intros? It's very robotic. Very. I don't know. It drives the crap out of me. Drives the crap out of me.
Good evening and welcome to Let's Do a Podcast. My name is Ryan and I am Anthony. Let's do
Beep,
this
boop,
podcast.
beep beep boop, bop, beep.
Computing. Podcast has started.
Anyways, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining us again. I know we just released an episode. We recorded on Friday night and I released it Saturday morning. So we're back again for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we're back. We're back with more because everybody loves a good Thanksgiving podcast, right? Right? Family gathered around the cell phone, playing it, making while you're cooking the cranberry sauce and the turkeys.
Yes, all of those things.
And gathering around the gravy pit and your 400-year-old witch pilgrim grandma. I don't know.
Thing
or mom.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I have no idea what the hell that thing was. But anyways, before we get into the movie, let's get into drinks. I already poured mine, and it was kind of a mistake because it's gonna get watered down. But I know that I said I would drink a whiskey, so that's what I'm doing.
I should have done that.
This is made here locally ish. It's over in Astera, but Astera, yes, over there.
Yeah. Is that called AO?
AO, yeah. It's a single malt whiskey. It was, yeah. I mean, small batch. Let's see. Oh, hold on. There's more info here at the bottom. This is bottle 449, batch 10. Date was December 1st, 2022. Boat, the FU, South Bay.
I was like, is that 440 proof? Is that what it is? Like it's like 300% alcohol.
I don't know what any of this means. Yeah.
440. It's like, okay, I gotta remember how proof works. So like 151 is like, it's like, if it's because like Bacardi 151 is like 70% alcohol. So 400 proof would be like 200% alcohol, right? Okay. Anyways,
but yeah,
it would just be very flammable.
Yeah. But the people that make this were at our local farmers market, and we tasted a bunch of their different whiskeys and all that kind of stuff. And I remember, like, I tasted this one, I was like, oh, by itself, it's amazing. So I already poured myself a little bit with big ice cube in there. So before I drink mine, though, Anthony, what are you drinking?
So in case you missed last week, so I was gonna get a new beer for our new podcast, but I didn't stop by the brewery to pick up my Thanksgiving beer. So in case you missed me drinking it last time, I'm drinking one of my last can of Crossfados Barbados. Again, it's also really good, so I don't mind it. I hope you guys don't mind it. So I'm drinking this again. So you may just hear me just pontificate on the virtue and deliciousness of this quadruple IPA that is, I believe it's 12%, got that sweet, boozy, hoppy, mango, and orange flavor. I liked it last time. Let's see if I still like it. I also liked it last night and the night before that. So
I'm going to imagine that you're going to like it today. That's just my
opinion
guess.
Changed.
Yeah, so far, like, I just took my first sip. It's so good. So I haven't had this in quite a while. But it's such a good made whiskey. Like, I'm interested I really want to turn it into like a old fashioned and see how it is as well.
Ooh, that'd be good.
Yeah, I went through a phase where I was making old fashions like crazy. I have the stuff for it. I just need to do it.
You do it with like the orange rind and the cherry and all that stuff.
Well, nice. Usually we just do bitters and orange.
Okay.
and that's about it. That's good
I
for
don't
me.
really remember how to make it. It's been so long since I've had an old fashioned. I don't even remember what's in it, to
My
be honest.
favorite. If I'm gonna get a liquor drink, it's gonna be an old fashioned. That's right. You're welcome, people listening.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's
so
how you know it's good.
yeah, so it's Thanksgiving week. Some celebrate, some don't. So Anthony, what are y'all gonna do for Thanksgiving?
Uh, so it's a bit up in the air right now. We are trying to work our way forward. Unfortunately, our boxer Max has been feeling a little sick. It's he may have to go in for surgery to get his
Aw.
spleen removed. So we're trying to determine. We were initially planning on flying back to Florida to visit Monique, my wife's parents. But if depending on what needs to happen with Max, because we want to make sure he's doing good, we want to make sure he's healthy. He's an older dog, but he's still got a lot of. I think he's still got a lot of time kicking there. So if depending on how he recovers and when we can get him in for his splenectomy, we may be sticking around at home. So TBD on that.
Mm.
And so if so, we're gonna have to figure out what we're doing for Thanksgiving because we have all our plans are in Florida, not here. So unsure at the moment.
Oh man. Well, definitely keep us updated
Yeah.
on Max. Definitely want to send all the good vibes his way. That's for
Mhm.
sure. Ugh, that's no fun to deal with. But for us, so this is our first Thanksgiving, not anywhere near any family or really friends. So we kind of decided, you know what we're gonna do Thursday is we're gonna do a movie day, and we're gonna find a place that's open and order something from them. You know,
A good
uh,
call.
I
I do
kind of
that
wanted to
even
do,
when I have family nearby.
yeah. I mean, usually, I mean, pretty much every year we'd go to my family's and do. Sometimes we do traditional like turkey kind of stuff, but sometimes we like to change it up and it's like a completely different type meal. But it's all about just getting together. But yeah. So I really wanted to do sushi this year, but our favorite Indian or no, the Indian place is open too. But my favorite Thai place in town just said that they were going to be open. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe we'll get some good Thai food and
Yeah.
watch a bunch of movies. So if I do that, keep an eye on our Facebook. Let's do a podcast. I'll be posting movies that I watched throughout that day. So
Yeah, like movies like Thanksgiving 1,
no,
Thanksgiving 3.
uh, um, but to kind of continue though, like so the next day, so Friday, we decided we're going to adventure and we're gonna drive down to Bend for the day. Uh,
Oh, nice. The beer headquarters of like the Pacific Northwest.
yeah, I really wanted to stay like the weekend, but with our big trip coming up in December, I was like, I can't really do that. So
Yeah.
we're gonna wake up really early Friday, drive out there. Of course, we gotta go visit the last Blockbuster,
Oh, yes.
because that's over there. And like I guess a brewery across the street makes like Blockbuster beer. Uh, so I might have to get some of that and yeah, just go hit up a brewery or two and then drive back. So
That sounds like it's going to be pretty great.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be nice kind of just to unplug and go do something besides work. So um all right. Let's get on to the events, news, and movies. Um so first off, I'll talk about a news that came out for the DFW, which is brutal. Uh
Yeah.
th- they actually announced I think it was Friday or Saturday that they were closing their doors, which is just it's so sad. They were a great brewery. Uh, I think they were the first ones in North Richland Hills, if I remember correctly.
I think they were just like slightly before False Idol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, they said that the reason though is rent is just getting crazy expensive that they can't even
Mhm.
afford it. Um, they I feel like a lot of breweries say that, but they put in there saying too of just like this isn't goodbye. It's just see you later for now or something like that. And I was like, I mean, it would be cool to still see them because like what False Idol did, they didn't have an actual brewery for a long time, but they got their beer all around town and you could see their cans places. So I'm like, I mean, maybe they try to figure out how to do something like that because I think they still made pretty good beer. So,
Yeah.
uh, it's tough. Like, just we were me and Anthony were talking before we hit the live today of just like every time we do an episode, there's another 1 to 2 breweries to talk about closing, and I just really want to put out there to really make sure whenever you can to go out there and celebrate your local celebrate
Yeah.
not celebrate well yeah celebrate but support your local brewery, tap room, your local businesses.
Yeah, like we hit on that a lot during when COVID, when we were podcasting during COVID.
Yeah.
It's like go out and support that. And it's like you should still like. It's like I understand everybody's busy. It's like the great. I feel like it's the great like soul sucking return to everything normal post COVID in these past couple of years. But it's like you still gotta because of that you can't forget that we got to still support these. If we want to keep these local institutions around, we still got to support them.
Yeah.
We got to remember that they're there if we want to keep them around. So yeah, got
So
to spread the love. I'm guilty of that. I
me too.
favor one particular brewery, so I should spread the love a little bit more. So
Yeah, and I mean,
yeah,
and I know it's hard because sometimes you finally get to the week and you're like, what? I just want to go sit at my favorite brewery, just sit there and chill.
yeah,
But it's just like, give another one a shot. Like, what's the worst? The worst thing you'd be like, this wasn't my favorite, but hey, at least you supported local. And um, so really, I think that's something I really want to get better about talking a lot about is I know we talk about the events happening and stuff like that, but really just pushing of just go out there and even just buy a 4 pack and go to your favorite brewery if you want.
yeah.
Just try to help where you can because I just have this feeling that it's not going to get better anytime soon.
Yeah, there's a lot of consolidation going on in the market right now, and there's a
Yeah.
lot of there's the ones that are doing really strongly that were able to either secure like a lot of like their supply chains, or and this is normal in any market, but like a lot of
Yeah.
the security in supply chain or security in real estate, and those guys are doing pretty good. Plus, they probably already have like the customer base to really kind of support that already, but the ones who haven't are having a rougher time of it. So.
Yeah. And I mean, I know that's one thing I'm so excited about coming back and visiting is, I mean, the list of places I want to go to support that are you know, my home breweries and
Mhm.
I after kind of reading that, I decided I was like, okay, I need to really sit down. I need to really do my research to figure out is there something like Beer and Big D for Oregon? There has to
Yeah.
be. I just got to find it because I really do want to start spreading that as much as I can as well. So, anyways, with all that said, Anthony, let us know what's going on in the DFW for beer.
All right. So gonna skip right to Drinksgiving. That is Wednesday, November 22nd. Thanks to Beer and Big D for letting me know that this is Wednesday, November 2nd is Drinksgiving. I didn't know this, so now I can celebrate. But got a bunch of events going on in a bunch of places. But I do want to highlight. We did kind of joke about the Thanksgiving beer. We always joke about that every year since we did suffer through that horrible beer that one year.
It was so awful.
But yeah, I do want to say that Martin House appears to be back up to their old tricks. I'm going to see if I can get this so we can try it for Christmas, Ryan.
Yes.
But they're doing a tap room release of Kegnog, a beer brewed with eggnog, vanilla, and lactose. This is either going to be really good or really terrible. I'm really curious what kind of beer this is either going to be a white stout or it's going to be like a sour and just be like the horrifying.
uh,
So slightly afraid. But Wednesday, November 22nd, if I'm able to get down there, I'm going to see if I can. Hopefully, they're canning this and not just doing a draft release on this. So we shall see. If I can get this in cans, I'm definitely going to get some and throw it in the fridge. So when you come down here, you can suffer with me, Ryan.
Yeah.
But if you go down there, if you wait till about 6 p.m., you can have some kegnog, and then you can participate in the Martin House beer run. That's right, a belly full of kegnog, and then go for a run. Sounds wonderful, doesn't it? Sounds like stomach cramps.
Yeah, my stomach hurts so bad right now. It's not the whiskey.
After you spend the day with the family on the 23rd, Thanksgiving, if you're feeling a little itchy to get out there, Black Friday you can celebrate. Community Beer is doing their Black Friday special featuring $6 packs to go, $25 off merchandise, which they always have like great shirts and stuff. I love their stuff down there. They're selling selling their Barrel Aged Legion 4 packs, and they are doing a release of their Black IPA. I don't know if they've released a Black IPA before. I'm curious about this one.
I don't think so.
They've been changing it up a little bit on their IPAs recently. Still want a 3D IPA. Maybe someday, who knows? But Black IPA, I've had a few of them. I always like them. So check out Community on Black Friday there when you're taking a break between in your shopping sprees there. Do people still do the shopping sprees on Black Friday? Maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know. I try to avoid the shopping scene pretty much from now till Christmas. So
yeah, I'm more of a Cyber Monday person myself. I try not to go in the stores anymore.
Same.
It's too anxiety, too much anxiety. Small Business Saturday again. Hey, small businesses. They got a few events going on here. Got the Three Empires Brewing Company over in Frisco. That's a new one I haven't seen before. They have a taproom release of their Pearl Necklace Cream Ale. Hop and Sting has their holiday art market, and Dr. Jekyll Beer Lab has their Small Business Saturday featuring release of Thunder Snow Golden Stout. I always like a golden stout with coffee, chocolate, and vanilla. And Valencia is a cranberry orange sour, which if you like, it sounds like if you like a cranberry orange scone, you might like this beer. Which they're going to have also be selling the 2023 Texas Craft Brewers Guild Art Glass. I've seen these sold elsewhere before. Those glasses are always pretty cool looking.
Oh yeah, I really want this year's. It looks really cool.
But looking further out, we're gonna start getting into Christmas events soon. It seems too soon to me, if you ask me. But Lakewood in December 1st, they got their Bourbon Barrel Temptress VIP experience. That sounds pretty fancy. Bearded Monk has their Denton Krampusnacht 2023 on December 2nd through 5th. And then going even further. Turning Point beer, December 9th and 10th, they have Santa photos. You want to go to Turning Point and have a few IPAs, have some Santa photos. That's where you get to. And then my favorite, Ugly Sweater Christmas parties. Siren Rock at December 9th, and Tupps Brewery at December 9th. Ugly Sweater parties, do it up. And Odd Muse, last one, 4th anniversary Luau Batch at Odd Muse, December 16th. But a lot of events out there. There's a few festive events out there. We'll talk about those when we get closer to it. Still don't see it on the calendar for Celestial, but I've been based on what we've seen on social media. They've assured us that's going to happen. Just don't have a date for it yet. So keep an eye out.
All right. Took me a while because I could not remember the name of it. So the Thanksgiving beer was called the Side Dish from Celestial and Martin House. And we gave it a 3.5 because we were like, it tasted exactly like
it was
stuffing.
Accurate. Yeah.
If you would think, I wonder what stuffing would taste like as a beer, it would be this. It was god awful, but it was exactly, you could taste the celery and everything.
Yeah, it was like, let me see if I can remember the flavors. It was like turkey gravy, celery, like stuffing, aka just tastes like sage. And I think there was supposed to be cranberry in there as well, but I didn't taste the cranberry.
Yeah. Plus, it was an 8%, which is kind of funny. Sage, onion, thyme, bay leaf, celery, salt, cranberries.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
wild.
it was an experience.
It really was. Obviously,
I
it's not one
tell
that we'll ever forget.
no, I tell anybody who listens to me will listen to me. I will tell them about this beer. I talk about this beer so frequently as like anytime I talk about this podcast, I always talk about that beer, and
Yeah.
it's just an unforgettable experience. It's etched into my brain.
Yeah, that's why it's like we have to get the crazy ones, especially if we're gonna be together. We gotta have the crazy ones to drink. Like, so if you get the eggnog one, we'll have that, and of course we have to have a
Yeah.
good beer. Because it's like I don't see myself finishing a can of it. So
It's like I'm not afraid of the beer. I'm afraid that I'll like it.
yeah. Um. So with all that said, let's move on to the movies. I kind of just had to pull some. So apparently, there's a new Hunger Games movie. I had no idea.
Yeah, this song, is it Song of Fire and Ice or something? Or
The
am I thinking?
Ballad of
No,
Songbird and
that's Game of
Snake.
Thrones.
Yeah. So yeah, the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I haven't even watched the trailer for this, but apparently it's already out. So,
Yeah, I was
has
surprised to see it was already out too.
yeah, I feel like it came out of nowhere. That's what she said. Um, but I mean, it has a 7.2 out of 5, so it's not a terrible rating for it. Um,
Yeah, 7.2 out of 5 is pretty damn high.
yeah. So if anybody went to go see this, let us know how it is, because I've seen all of them. I didn't. I feel like I never even saw commercials for this. I feel like it just all of a sudden just was like, bam, you have a new one. You're like, oh, okay.
I feel like a lot of these movies that were like had their run up during the actors strike, like they're just like kind of sneaking up on us because there was
Yeah.
like not the normal Hollywood like press junket, just kind of like pushing these movies.
Yeah. Next was, which again, I'm just grabbing ones that are currently out or coming out. So Trolls Band Back Together, or Trolls Band Together.
I thought this one already came out.
This one, I think it just came out.
Well, I have heard a lot about this one because of its like connections with NSYNC.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I remember that I have heard that there's a new one coming out, but I can't tell you anything about it. I didn't even pay attention. So
Yeah, the rumor is that this is like tied. This was at least going to be tied to a comeback tour for NSYNC, but then there was the Britney Spears book that came out and had had some not nice things to say about Justin Timberlake. So it may be on hiatus at least temporarily until things calm down. Until
but
until JT recoups a little bit of his good name, supposedly. So
yeah.
we'll see.
So that has a 6 out of 10 rating. So if for some reason you're like, oh damn, I love Trolls, there you go. There's a new one out for you. Apparently coming out in December, I think it was December 15th, is Wonka. I did not know there's a new Willy Wonka based movie coming out.
Prequel. It's a prequel.
Oh, is it a prequel? Again,
It's a
like
prequel.
I feel like the movies that I'm talking about are the ones I'm like, I didn't even know they were coming out with these. But again, it was during all the I don't know. Like I feel like all of a sudden this just popped up. I'm like, wait, what? There's gonna be a new Wonka? What?
It's really interesting because these movies that come out in December, they're either anticipated to be either big blockbuster movies or Oscar bait movies, and it's like which one is Wonka supposed to be, Oscar bait or like or blockbuster? And it doesn't really seem to fit. It's like because it's the question. The question is like to me, I ask is like who's looking for this movie? You know?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't watched the trailer for it either.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I probably will, like once we log off of here tonight while I'm waiting for everything to download. I might just see the trailer because I mean, I love Willy Wonka and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Like they're fun movies. So I'm like, I'm not against it, but at the same time, it's like, kind of why?
Yeah, it's two things I find it interesting about this movie. So number one is Willy Wonka played by Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah, Yeah,
And number
that's.
2, Oompa Loompas, played by Hugh Grant.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that the second one is far more interesting to me than the first one.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, so if you knew about this one and you're very interested and or excited or not excited, again, let me know. I would love to know. I'm watch the trailer tonight and maybe I'll put something out there on our Facebooks about it. So, then the last one, apparently a new Aquaman movie.
The last DCEU movie coming out. Yeah.
Again, did not realize it was already coming out. So that will be December
Yeah.
22nd. Uh I mean, the first one was good. First one was fun. Of course, it has Jason Momoa, which I mean, come on, anything he's in, I'm a fan of, for multiple reasons, of course. Um,
Yeah,
but
catch him as Aquaman before he becomes Lobo in the next version of the DCU.
mhm.
Yeah.
um, but I mean, so his career really started. I don't know if you know this, but it started in Stargate
Really? I
Atlantis.
thought it was
Yeah.
Game of Thrones.
So he was a main character in Stargate Atlantis. And that is so he was in stuff before that, but that is really, I think, the kind of thing that really got him boosted out there more. Playing pretty much a version of Aquaman, I have to say, it feels like. Um,
Was he the king of Atlantis in this in Stargate Atlantis as well?
I mean, it kind of felt like it. He is just like this badass guy. But anyways, so I think that's why I've always really liked him because like whenever I rewatched it, I was like, oh shit, I was like, that's Jason Momoa. Like I've watched this guy for so long and without kind of real putting it together. Um,
That's funny.
so I mean, I kind of want to see it because again, I liked the first one, and I mean, again, I haven't watched the trailer. I know I'm terrible. I'll probably watch all these trailers tonight. So maybe I'll put something out there on Facebook tomorrow about what I thought about each trailer that I watched. So with that said, we're not going to talk fantasy football since we did a few days ago, but I can tell you that I'm in second to last place now. So,
So you definitively hold that position now?
yeah, I lost pretty bad, and so now it's like got that second to last. I'll just ride that for the rest of the season. So
Yeah. If only
All
you could equal like good draft position, right?
yeah, jeez. Yeah, that's what I keep saying too. So one last thing before we move on to the last Thanksgiving movie. What's your favorite Thanksgiving classic food?
So classic food.
Yeah,
My
like
favorite
yeah,
classic Thanksgiving food. Not counting like turkey ham. Like I'm a ham person more than a turkey person personally.
same,
And
same.
I'm not a gravy person. I'll eat my mashed potatoes no gravy.
Oh no, that's
I'm
wrong.
I'm not a fan of gravy. I know it's weird.
So I guess we'll say sides because
Yeah.
we both are ham. We can say that.
Yeah.
I am I love gravy. I not as much as I used to. I used to really like my plate used to be mainly gravy and then mixed with other things.
Yeah.
But as I've gotten older, I'm like I can't really do that anymore.
Right.
So I guess sides. What's your favorite side or dessert?
So I'll do a little bit of both. So my
Yeah.
favorite side has become, as I've gotten older, green bean casserole, like with the French's fried onions.
Oh yeah, buddy.
Yeah, that's a good, just classic, like with green beans, cream mushroom soup, but French's fried onions on top. It's got to be the French's. If it's not, like, what are you doing? What are you even doing?
Get that shit
And
out of
then
here.
yeah, and then there's a like a fruit salad my grandma used to make. It was or she called it pistachio salad. It's a very northeast thing.
Yeah.
I think they call it ambrosia in the south, but it's like basically it's not a salad by any means. It's like
No.
mainly Cool Whip, mandarin oranges, and like a uh, pistachio, like a Jello pudding
Yeah.
mix.
Yeah, it's so weird.
And like pineapples, and but I was like, I like it for the fruit and the Cool Whip, and it's just it's just sugar and fruit, and it's
Yeah.
like the most 50s shit ever. And I just like love it. It's like you see that, you should see it in a Jello mold. It's probably how it was served back in the 50s, but and then like it just kind of melts during the course of the evening. But that was like my jam.
Mm, it's so funny. Man, I do like a good green bean casserole too. To me, it's pretty tied between a green bean casserole and mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
I love mashed potatoes with gravy. But yeah, like you said though, the green bean casserole, it's either a, it kind of depends on like how's it prepared and like what's the seasonings used. So it all kind of comes down to how was it seasoned this time. Depends on
Right.
which one wins for me.
It's
Um,
like with me. It's like if it were more consistent, stuffing would be like my thing. If it was consistent, but I can't. I've never like depending on who makes it, it's different. And or like even like I've even had the forbidden stuffing, the stuffing that's been cooked inside the turkey that you're not supposed to eat
mhm.
because somebody made it and didn't tell us that it was cooked inside the turkey and then just served it. It was like at a Friendsgiving, and then a bunch of people got sick. I didn't get sick because I got a cast iron stomach, but the inconsistency in stuffing across like the spectrum of stuffing is just like it's so much that it's like you
So
can't.
hard.
I feel like it can't be your favorite because it's just like always different unless it's like
Yeah.
your mom stuffing or your grandma stuffing or something like that.
Yeah, the only stuffing that is somewhat consistent is whenever my family does a turducken, and then we get the
Oh,
juices,
that's
and
right. I've heard of that.
yeah,
Yeah.
we create the stuffing using the juices too. So it's very good. But again, like we do that for Christmas, but for Thanksgiving, yeah, I can't. I always want to like stuffing, but
It's
again,
like it's
you
the
just don't know what
turducken's
you're
got to
gonna
be like
get.
made by like the duck grease because like the grease off a duck is just like gotta like bind everything together. It's
Yeah, for
gotta,
sure.
yeah.
Dessert though, it's definitely pumpkin pie. I'm pretty sure I've talked about this every year because I think
Yeah.
every year we talk about the food. Uh, that's the only dessert I will eat that's there for Thanksgiving, and I don't care how small or big it is. I will attempt to eat the whole thing. So I really want to get the Costco one that's like the size of like
It's like it's
a
like this
child.
big.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like $5.
Yeah.
Like it's the same price as one of the small ones that you could buy at a normal store, you know? Like
Well,
it's
it's like
that
it's
that big at a regular store, but at Costco it's the
well,
size of a person.
well, so that's always the thing that gets me about Costco is like it's $5 for this big. You pick it up and it's actually two pies just stacked on top of each other, and so it's $5 for two pies like that are this big,
Yeah.
and they're just like taped together.
It's been tempting to get one, but I'm like, it's just me and Hannah. Like that's that's not gonna happen. I can't do that to myself. But all right, so let's move on to the movie, The Last Thanksgiving. First shocker though, I'm gonna say about this was made in 2020.
Yeah.
Uh, I really would have not guessed that unless I have IMDb up, which is crazy to me.
So it looks like it aired or it released in 2020. So they must have like filmed it like prior to all the COVID nonsense or all the COVID antics where they. But then again, it was filmed in Florida where things rules were pretty lax. Because I imagine if this was filmed in California, they would have had a lot more space between folks.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, this got filmed. It was really interesting because they have filming locations. It was filmed in Hollywood, Florida. So it was filmed in a Hollywood, just not
Yeah,
the Hollywood.
exactly. So give us a little synopsis, which is very, very little. And
Quite
then
succinct, quite short.
we'll chat a little bit and then of course get on to the like and dislike.
Yeah. So I'll discuss. I'll go through the synopsis and then I'll go through the tagline because the tagline. I just love the tagline.
Hmm.
So the synopsis is: a family of cannibalistic pilgrims, questionable, attacks a restaurant that stays open for Thanksgiving. And the tagline This has got to be one of my favorite taglines. After this year, there can't be another The Last Thanksgiving.
So, what's the
It's like the
questionable
definition of
part?
last. Yeah. Huh?
What's the questionable part whenever you read the synopsis? That they're pilgrims or cannibals?
Pilgrims.
Okay. All right.
The cannibal thing, I feel like they oversell the cannibal thing, if you ask me. Although
Yeah.
we never see them actually eat anybody. We see them like just like kill people and like and maim them. We never see them eat anybody.
Well,
They imply that they're going to eat people, but they never actually do it.
the boss guy at the restaurant, I don't remember his name, but I don't remember anybody's name. Oh my gosh. But the guy that goes in there to like apply for a job, whatever his name
Yeah.
was. I mean, he shoves the
Was that Trip?
I think so. But he shoves the whisk in the manager's eye and then he licks it or something like that.
Oh, does he? Okay, I missed
Yeah.
that.
So it's a sort, but I feel like that is kind of the only sort of cannibalistic thing in the movie,
Yeah.
except for of course all the implying. But there's just like a lot of like chopping up people and stuff that they do at
Right.
one point. What a weird movie. I feel like I say that at the beginning of almost every episode whenever we start
Right.
talking about it, but we watched some of the weirdest shit.
It's like I didn't even find this one. You found this one, so
Yeah, I literally went on to Tubi and just put Thanksgiving, and I was like, "Oh, 2020? Okay, we'll watch that." And I
right.
watched the trailer. I was like, "Okay, this kind of is up our alley." And then and I watched it, and it's definitely up our alley on the list of terrible movies that we've watched. Um, I think another difficult thing about this movie is it was obviously made to look old and be kind of corny, but it
Yeah,
also felt like good.
I think they purposely gave themselves this '80s aesthetic.
Yeah. It's definitely
Yeah.
on purpose. So I think the hard part was like it kind of felt like they were trying to make it also serious and kind of bad. I don't know. It kind of felt like they were trying to mix both of the worlds of a bad movie and a serious movie, like a bad, stupid, silly movie and a serious one. At least
Yeah,
that's how I got.
my feeling that I got at the end of this movie, I thought to myself, a lot of movies, and I think they were going for this. It's like a lot of movies back in the '70s and maybe the early '80s. A lot of the horror movies that we know and love these days are Jason's, our Friday the 13th. So yeah, our Friday the 13th, our Nightmare on Elm Streets, our Texas Chainsaw Massacres. They were like prior to them becoming like big franchises, they were like guys the people making like penny pinching these movies, and so they were like these low budget affairs, and so I feel like they were like, hey, we're pinching pennies until they scream. We're filming at this restaurant in Hollywood, Florida, not Hollywood, California.
Yeah.
And so since we're gonna be doing this movie on the cheap, let's like give it that vibe of those movies back in the '70s, back in the '80s, and if we give it that vibe, at least at least with the cinematography, to make people think that this is like those movies, like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and kind of give it that feeling, and so people will kind of forgive it, but also
Mhm.
like maybe like fall in love with it, like they did with those franchises, which maybe not as successful as they hoped,
Yeah.
if you ask me. So
Um. I, I definitely get that and I understand that now. Like now that you said that, I was like, okay, I could see maybe they were trying to do that.
yeah,
Um, I don't know, just nothing felt like it really stuck in this movie in a sense. Like
yeah,
I feel like there was just like a lot of thrown at this movie, a lot of things happening, and just nothing really stuck. And that's why they just kept throwing weird ass shit happening. And I don't know. Like it was such an awkward movie.
Well, it's like I feel like the other thing too is they try to justify how bad the cannibals are at capturing people. In the beginning, it's like, oh, it's like we enjoy the chase, we enjoy like when they try to run away, but like it's like when they trap them, when they finally like when Kurt's the guy's name, when they finally like break character and they're like, all right, hey, we're here to murder you, and they all hide in the kitchen. It's like, and they one door is blocked by the car, the other door is blocked by the inside. They block it with the freezer, so the cannibal murderers can't get in. Uh, they they don't like. It's like they don't wait. They don't try to break in to push the fridge out, or they just kind of wait for them to like, I don't know, starve to death in the kitchen that's probably got full of food. It's like
Yeah.
if they had just stayed in there the entire time, they probably would have been able to eventually. The cannibals would have eventually left. It was going to not be Thanksgiving anymore at some point, right? They have to do this on Thanksgiving. That's the impression I got. It's never spelled out. I don't know if the cannibals would just stayed and waited forever after Thanksgiving was no longer a thing. But
Yeah.
it's like
Again, like I
the cannibals are bad at their jobs.
yeah, and that's why another thing was like, okay, is this supposed to be like this stupid, funny, bad movie? But literally on IMDb, all of it just says like horror slasher, like because they have like the tags, and every single one that I've wondered that about, they always have like horror slasher, like comedy or something like that. So you're like, okay, I kind of can understand where they're going. No, it's not. They don't have that here, so it
Yeah.
definitely feels like they were trying to make a bad serious movie, which we've seen a
Which-
few
yeah.
and they have not worked out well.
Yeah. Which I gotta say they this has got to be like one of the most uh pro like anybody can do anything they want when they had Mr. Pearl Senior like kill the guy in the wheelchair, kill one of the cannibal murderers, and stab them to death with a broomstick. Which I was surprised
Yeah.
when he like impaled them with a not even a sharpened broomstick, a blunt end of a
That's
broomstick.
what I was about to say. It wasn't even fucking sharp.
Yeah.
It was wild. Um, yeah. So, I mean, is there anything you want to touch on before we go into likes and dislikes about this movie?
I feel like I'm already getting into that territory.
Yeah, me too. Okay, let's do the difficult one. Anthony, what did you like about this movie?
So I liked that we got an acknowledgement to one of my favorite bad movies, Santa Claus versus the Martians. So we had a pointless aside to what was the main character's name? I'm assuming she's the main character. What was her name? Becca.
Do, 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 do.
These credits are organized very poorly.
Yeah, I was about to say it's usually like the top people are right there.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
It's not done very well. There's
But
a character
anyway.
named Dog that's listed really high. I'm gonna call her Becca. So the main character, I think she's Becca, but she's the lead actress we see in the beginning with her family. She has an aside where she goes to the movie theater. I don't know why they put this in here, except that they had maybe access to the movie theater and they wanted to use it.
Yeah.
She goes to visit her boyfriend. Her boyfriend pisses her off. I think it gives her like her moment of realization that she actually wants to go work at be at the restaurant with her friends who actually like are nice to her, rather than her boyfriend who is being mean to her and her family who is like being
Nice
mean
to her. Yeah.
Yeah, nice to her. So like it's like her friends at the restaurant, the people that she doesn't even like, she also treats them very meanly. So she goes back, and then when she gets caught up in this whole thing, if she had just like stayed and hung out with her boyfriend, she would have been fine. She would not have been attacked by cannibals. Anyways, the whole aside to the movie theater, I thought it was totally pointless, as I mentioned. But they did talk a little bit about Santa Claus versus the Martians, and it's just giving love to that film. It's if you haven't watched it, watch the Mystery Science Theater 3000, so it's a little more palatable. But they did show a little bit of it during the course of the movie, and it's great because it's probably a movie that didn't have to pay like anything for the rights for, because I think it's in the public domain. But I love the movie. It's like one of my favorite Christmas movies because it's just so awful and so just like 1950s weird. But yeah, thing I love about the movie, Santa Claus versus the Martians, a whole different movie. Never show a better bad movie in your bad movie. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. The thing I liked about this was, and I I realize what I'm about to say pretty much goes against everything that I complain about in these kinds of movies. I liked that nothing made sense. At the end of the movie,
Consistently inconsistent.
yeah, at the end of it, and you're done watching and thinking, none of this made any sense. It doesn't add, nothing adds up. At the same time, I was like, that's kind of funny. Like, because a lot of times we talk about, well, they did this and that didn't quite make sense. And like, we didn't get anything with this. But usually those are movies where like there's actual decent plots. I don't know. I just feel like there was so much nothing in this movie. And then it ends. And you're like, that was an hour and 13 minutes of nothing.
Yeah,
except for just
that's the other thing. So the movie was short, thank goodness.
Yeah, so it's I know, and usually that is like one of my biggest complaints. But again, I think it's a little bit different because this, like Anthony said, it's very consistent. Of there's absolutely nothing that makes sense, and things are happening. You're thinking, but well, why is this happening? And they explain things, and you're just like, this doesn't answer any fucking questions. But you're explaining to me, really, like.
You know, my favorite example of that is after they get everybody rounded up and finally get them back to the cannibal house. They get everybody, they're all tied into the chairs, and we don't see, so like, because we see like the last thing we see is like the two guys in the car, they get smoked out by the cannibal because they were driving with the windows open. Why
Again, why?
But then one of them, but everybody wakes up, and then like three of them are in chairs. There's an empty chair, and they're like, where's what's his face? It's like, oh, he escaped. It's like, why did we not see him escape? It's just,
yeah.
Are they lying? No, they're not lying. Gone. He actually escaped. We just never saw him escape.
And the guy, like, what, he didn't call the fucking cops? Like,
he's just lost in like a 3-bedroom 2-bath house.
Yeah, like, okay, he escaped, but nothing comes from that at all.
Except when he gets impaled, except when he gets impaled in the knees by 2 sticks from the ceiling.
And where you would assume he was in the kitchen, but they went to the kitchen multiple times and he was not in there.
No, he was just down the hall, just like standing down there. Yeah.
But again, like, they were running around the house. They never ran into him. I don't get it. I don't get it. But at the same time, that's what the end, I was just like, for some reason, I did kind of enjoy that. Of just,
yeah,
you watch the whole thing and you literally just like, I don't know. And you just move on. Yeah. So with that said, let's just the one thing that you disliked about this movie.
Oh, there's so much to choose from.
I know.
The
classic Thanksgiving tradition here is picking a bad movie.
Oh man, the witch, or the pilgrim cannibal witch lady that's 400 years old, at like thrown in at the last minute.
Yeah.
Oh, she's still alive, and she's like wearing, she's like just kind of like dropped, like, what do you mean dead? And it's like all of a sudden, and then we see what she does, and and I think we get an idea of what she does, and it's horrifying, the implication of the whole scene that we see there. But it's just like this. It's like we have the cannibal people, and they're hurting people who don't celebrate Thanksgiving, which the people there don't want to be working at the restaurant. They want to be home with their families celebrating Thanksgiving. So like, doesn't intent count?
I like how they even say that, just like, it's not that we don't want to celebrate Thanksgiving. Like,
yeah, we have jobs. Like, you're punishing us because we're like, we have to do jobs. Anyways, the pilgrim witch lady, I never got the. Was this supposed to always be in Plymouth, Massachusetts? Was this always supposed to be in Massachusetts?
I had no idea.
Yeah, I never got any indication that this is where this was happening. But the witch, and she gets shot by a gun. You'd think she'd have like some kind of powers if she's lived for 400 years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was shocking.
yeah. It was like it was like the biggest. It was like, what? And then she gets shot, and you're like, okay, so that's nothing. And then the movie's over. Okay.
Yeah. Again, another example of just like a lot of nothing. Like a lot
Yeah.
of things that just don't make sense.
Yeah, my favorite thing is though is they do say earlier in the movie is like we shouldn't really have the guns in the house because that could like backfire on us. And they're like, we won't do it next year. And then of course, when they mention that, the guns, of course, gonna come into play to just like totally bring their cannibal dynasty down. I don't know.
Yeah. So I guess for me, I mean, some of mine's the same as yours. I didn't like any of the actors really. I I didn't like anybody that was in this movie. I thought they did a terrible job. Um Again, I don't know how much of that is on purpose because I'm just going based off of IMDb and the research of
Uh-huh.
it's not a comedy or terrible slasher movie. It's just a really bad movie. So I feel like with that said, of just like, yeah, I really have to put the acting way down. On top of course, the writing. It was
Yeah.
probably shit too, but I think that's what bugged me the most is just the really, really bad acting in this. But
Yeah, it's funny because I'm reading. I was reading one of the reviews here, and they one of these reviews on IMDb is like, it's like everything about this movie is perfect, with the exception of the acting, the sound, the Foley, the script, the special effects, the cinematography, and the directing. Otherwise, it's great.
yeah, 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 it's a 2 out of 10 rating.
Yeah,
Which I am surprised that on IMDb it has a 4 out of 10, which I'm pretty surprised about. But
yeah.
all right, so
It's like
Anthony,
so I do want to I do have two more things I want to bring up. Two other things that I think are worthy of note.
okay,
One, Gravy Skeleton.
yes,
Gravy Skeleton, and the Kurt's like hatchet job of Mr. Pearl's head. He just like cleaved that dude's skull in twain.
yeah, it was wild.
Yeah.
So
It's like Mr. Pearl Senior was just like stabbing somebody with a blunt broom, and he like his head just like flopped like like one of the aliens Independence Day is like head opening
yeah,
up. It was just like it just like flopped like that. It was weird, but I was like, oh, here we go.
and to go back to gravy skeleton, skeleton gravy or whatever. Um, it literally there is a skeleton attacking a person that looks like gravy.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to add on to the craziness of what the hell's happening in this
Yeah.
movie.
This movie goes off the rails at the end there.
So we are on Letterbox. Let's do a podcast. Anthony, how would you rate this movie 1 to 5?
I'm being generous by saying a 2.
I was thinking 2 as well. So
Yeah.
I guess we will give it a 2, mainly
Give
to
it a
be
2.
nice. I almost feel bad giving it a 1. So
Yeah.
um I would not recommend watching this, even if you're just in the mood for a bad movie. This isn't the one. There are plenty other.
Here's the true question. Would you rather watch this movie or Thanksgiving 3?
3. Oh, geez. Honestly, I think I would go for Thanksgiving over this still.
Yeah,
Um,
me too.
and if we have any loyal fans out there listening, you know how much I really, really, really hate Thanksgiving movies, like with a passion. I think this really takes the cake for overall hatred of a movie. Um, for all the reasons listed that we said and way more.
Yeah.
But yeah, this isn't a good background movie. I just overall I would recommend just pretend you didn't even hear this episode because I hope we did not want to motivate you to go watch this movie. But continue to finish this episode.
Yes.
Don't just stop listening.
Yeah, don't hit pause. Don't stop.
Yeah, don't delete us or anything.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we did another Thanksgiving movie. We already have next year's Thanksgiving movie planned out for us since it's in theaters right
Yeah.
now.
It's
So
it's gonna be streaming by the time this comes around, and
yeah,
hopefully it's better than this year's. So
yeah. So I mean, we already had that planned out, thank God. And I think I don't know if we talked about this off or online, but I really do think the uptick in Thanksgiving movies it has to be because of us, right?
it has to be.
Like,
I think we've really brought up the severe lack of Thanksgiving specific holiday movies.
yeah, yeah, I think
Christmas
so.
gets
And
all the love for like I feel like it's like Christmas and Valentine's Day get all the love for horror movies that are holiday themed. So Thanksgiving has got plenty of like material that's out there.
yeah, and I mean, not even just horror, but just films in general. So, because it
Yeah.
always gets looped in with Thanksgiving slash Christmas, and it's just like finally, I think Hollywood finally decided we need to listen to them after I don't even know what year we're on now. What is this, five or something?
Yeah.
Um, let's finally do it. Let's give them what they're asking for. So, you're welcome, everybody. So, Anthony, have you finished your drink yet, sir?
I am almost done. I've got a lot of I've got some leavings on the bottom there, so I'm just kind of being careful there so I don't
Mm.
ingest all the extra stuff there because I'm not a huge fan of the precipitate there.
Oh yeah. Well, give us your rating and everything. I'm sure if you heard the last episode, it'll probably be about the
Yeah.
same. So.
Yeah, whatever I said last time, I think it's the same. I think I said 4. Uh, keep with it. Yeah.
Just finished mine. It's very good. It's definitely one I could have again, just drink by itself. Um, I would give this out of 5. I'd probably put it at a 4.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a really good whiskey. I'm really excited to mix it with some stuff and see how good it is mixed because I know sometimes whiskeys by themselves aren't necessarily good mix and vice versa.
Yeah.
Um, so we're gonna do probably just one episode during December. Me and Anthony will be together at one point, so I think we'll crowd in there and we'll knock out one episode, probably drink maybe a beer or two and
Some kegnog.
yeah, it'll probably be a longer episode since it will be our one for December. And we'll actually be together. So we'll figure out or if y'all have any movie ideas, let us know for Christmas. But if not, we'll definitely figure it out and I'll post about it leading up to it. And I feel like I'm slowly getting better about that. Um thing of the week. I almost forgot. Do you have a thing of the week?
I do. I haven't started
for it.
watching this show yet, but I'm excited to begin. So Netflix recently released all the episodes for Scott Pilgrim. I think it's called Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. So I'm a huge fan of. I was a huge fan of the Scott Pilgrim movie with Michael Cera. Actually, I remember when I saw this movie in the theater because I was a huge fan of the Scott Pilgrim series. I read the comic series online. When it was just a comic. So when they came out with the Michael Cera and Michael Cera and all these great actors were in the movie, live action film. It came out. It was great. It was one of my favorite movies ever. bought the like LP, the vinyl LP when it came out because the music was great. I loved it. Uh, then it came out with a video game. I played the video game, and now they have come out and animated it with all the voice actors from the original movie. So they got Michael Cera again playing Scott Pilgrim as the character. I'm ready to go check it out. It seems
Nice.
like it's gonna be great. So I recommend you guys check it out too. Reviews for it are pretty awesome. If you're a fan of just like the nerd culture, which if you're listening to us, I'm sure you are, and just like video games and Toronto, then this may be the show for you. Check it out. Scott Pilgrim Takes Off on Netflix. It's going to be really good. So
Nice. Um, you know, I feel like since Friday, I can't think of anything really too much except for like, um, oh, I just lost it. No, that's not a good thing to happen to me at this moment. Um, Adventure. I'm just gonna say my suggestion of the week is adventure out. Um, I know, especially since I work from home, we have one car. Like I have to force myself to go out in the world in a
hmm
sense because it's, especially during the work week, like all I want to do after I clock out is leave this room and go sit on the couch for the rest of the day. Um, but at least once or twice a week, we go adventure out, whether it's, we just go play Pokemon Go. Yes, we still play that. Um, or it's just like, hey, let's just, you know, get a beer and just sit at a brewery for a while and just chat and just talk. Um, ooh, that and I'm gonna mix it up. Um, take care of yourself. I feel like within this last year, I really have been able to focus so much on figuring me out. I know I talked about this probably last year as well, whenever I was going to therapy and everything. Um, but again, just I feel like I'm constantly like learning new things about me as I like am truthful and honest with myself and really like letting myself have like time to be with myself. It sounds so strange, but like sometimes I just sit and I don't get on my phone and I just let my mind go and I kind of like talk to myself and give myself like I don't know. Eh, I feel like it's so a complicated thing to really talk about, but I feel like I never really took time to figure out what I wanted in life. I just did what was like, okay, well, this is just what I need to do. This is how I need to be. Um, I feel like this year has been one of the biggest changes in my personal life. So, um, maybe eventually I'll share some of those things with all of y'all, and as I become more comfortable with who I am. But I don't know. So I just really want to encourage, especially since, listen, I can only talk to a certain gender here, but I know men's mental health isn't really advertised much, and I feel like it's slowly getting better. But
yeah,
really taking time to work on your mental health is a huge thing, especially if you're going through something hard. I mean, whenever we lost our dog, it was truly the most difficult thing I think I've gone through in so long because she was my best friend. Um, so man, I just went all over the place with my thing of the week. But so there you go. There's a bunch of different stuff. So I really just take time for yourself without distractions and like listen. Just sit there and listen to yourself. What thoughts do you have, and what can you work on and improve and adventure out? Like go sit in a park and just do it there, or
yeah.
get fresh air. So, anyways, I could go on and on. Obviously, um, So that said, I hope that if you celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope it's a great one. If you
Yeah.
don't, I hope it's great time off of work. Hopefully, you're off of work, everybody. I know that I have Thursday through Monday off. I'm excited about. I took off that
Nice.
Monday after because I'm like, I'm just gonna take it off. um,
Yeah, I've decided I'm taking off Wednesday regardless of whether I'm going anywhere or not. So,
nice.
yeah.
Yep. I almost did that too. And I was like, I got so much to do. I was like, I'll just take off Monday so I can like prepare my everybody I work with. But
Yeah.
so I hope you have a great holiday or just time off. Make sure to take some time for yourself, and we will see you guys. Oh, you can find us. Let's Do a Podcast on Facebook and anywhere you listen to podcasts. Let's Twitch a pod on Twitch. Let's Do a Podcast 22 on YouTube's.
YouTube.
Let's Do a Podcast on Letterbox. Let's Do a Podcast on Untapped. I think that's it. If there's any beer you want us to try, let us know. Any alcohol, really, just let us know. Um, if
It's like,
there's a movie,
you find any scary Christmas or Thanksgiving beers, let us know. Point us in that direction. I'm
absolutely.
always willing to create and burn new memories into my brain of terrible, scary beers. Yeah, I've been referring to that beer as the Eldritch Horror of beers. So,
Ooh,
yeah. So challenge me again. Find
yes.
let's find one that's just as scary as that one as this side dish.
And who knows? Maybe whenever I get there for the holidays, maybe we'll be drinking just a bunch of really scary beer.
Yeah,
Um,
bunch of kegnog. Yeah.
so again, I will let people know when we'll be up recording live, me and him together in the same room, drinking beer and hanging out with you guys for our 1 December Christmas episode. So, all that said, let's end a podcast. Maybe.